Hi guys, welcome to Rootstem, and in today's video we're going to be going through the new Space Marine Codex and how it applies to my Crimson Fists army. So to begin with, I'm looking at this particular book. I'm just going to be going through it. At the same time, I'm probably going to be raising it and letting you guys have a look at what I can see. I'm not really going to be doing a split screen or in camera, simply because unfortunately I don't have time. So the reason I'm doing it as it apprehends to my Crimson Fist is everyone else has got reviews out there. They've all got reviews on what this book means to them. Apologies if I look away from the camera. And what it, what all the different units mean. I am just going to be looking at this on what units I have in my Crimson Fist army, how this new book is going to apply to them, and what I'm going to be able to do going forward. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be having a look at things like stratagems. I'm also probably going to be commenting on the book's layout, but I've had a quick flick through, but I've not really had a skim on this particular book. So let's get into it. As you can see, I'm just going to do a quick top-down view. Yes, you can see everything down this side. This is my painting table. It's one of the most stable surfaces I have in my gaming room. So let's get to it. Let's have a quick gander look at this particular book. So very similar feel at the front page as what we've got to the Space Marine Codex. Sorry, Warhammer 40,000 introduction. And of course, you've got your normal contents page, which I'm glad for, because sometimes trying to find certain units, everything is detailed in there. That's quite a lot of pages, 208 in total. That's quite a hefty, it's quite a hefty codex, but it should be for its 30 quid price tag. I quite like this picture, simply because the terrain looks like it's been hand-built. And we don't get a lot of those images anymore from Workshop, because I like to sell you their terrain. I like some classic hand-built, but on saying that, it's only hand-built because it's the Necron stuff, so of course we're not already selling Necron terrain to us. The rest of the book is effectively looking like this. This doesn't feel like a modern version. This feels like it harkens back to the 4th and 5th editions of the Warhammer 40,000 rule sets. We've got, of course, you've got your different bits about different war zones, and of course telling you about the apothecary and just advancing the story just a little. But it even includes some information for the Blood Angels, the White Scars, of course Imperial Fists, various different successor chapters. It's going to have to, because of course this book now applies to people. Oh, it's even got a story in there. This book now applies to people that even have Dark Angel and Blood Angel armies. I do like this bit of artwork. It's quite nice. And of course, you've got your standard, here's our models, here's how we've painted them, here's how they look on the tabletop. And of course, a giant shot, which I think that's one of those pictures that people were kind of getting a bit like funny about. And it shows a variety, mainly Primaris stuff, less of the normal. We knew it was going to go that way anyway. Let's not pretend that let's not pretend that that wasn't going to be the case. Right, so by the time we get to page 90, we've got rules, which means that there's over 100 pages of rules. Right, okay. So this is breaking it down. Battleforged, Army, Match Play, Crusade. Crusade, yeah, that's what I think of that new version. Data sheets, war gear, points, and reference. 4 pages of points. Now, I've seen clips showing these new points and how they, apply to the book. Let's see if it's going to be any good. We'll have a look at it in a moment. I don't like the fact that stratagems, warlord traits, relics are all at the beginning of the book. I prefer them to be at the end, like it was in the previous codex. I did actually find the previous codex to be quite a nice layout, where everything was at the back. So when you're playing the game, you haven't got to go through halfway into your book to find. We're just going to have to start having labels and tabs again like we used to. Okay, we've got a random page telling us about Combat Patrol. No rules on it, just telling you about Combat Patrol. I don't understand that. I really don't. Detachment abilities, company command, chapter tactics, yeah, but company command, that's something new. That's 1 captain, 2 lieutenant models. I'm wondering if we're going to count that as the single choice or double choice. Don't know yet. Okay, chapter tactics. This has already been kind of broken down for people already. I'll be honest with you, on the website. So, Crimson Fist, this is what I'm concentrating on. This is who I play. So each time a model with a tactic makes a range attack against a unit that contains at least 5 or more models, 5 more models than the attacker's unit, add 1 to the hit roll. And vehicles count as 5. Okay. Each time a model with this tactic makes an attack with a bolt weapon, unmodified hit rolls of 6 scores 1 additional hit. So no changes to my Crimson Fists there. While I'm reviewing this, I will also talk about the errata that came out with the changes to the Imperial Fist little handbook. They can no longer get the +1 damage to a weapon in the Devastator Doctrine. So we still know Devastator Tactical and Assault is still in here. But you can't get the +1 to your damage anymore. That only applies to weapons of strength 7 or more. Now, skip past a bit regarding chapter tactics, simply because I'm not creating my own. We're talking about Crimson Fists here. This is how it applies to my army. So chapter master, I've got Cantor, so I'm not really going to be paying much attention to this one. But gaining a command point for 4+ if you create your own chapter master. I like the fact that it now increases the points and power level of the unit, and so you can pretty much upgrade anybody. I quite like the idea of upgrading anybody. I quite like the idea of having, other than captains and lieutenants leading armies, which with their abilities only applying to core units now. I can see some people, if you've got a tank heavy army as an example, you might want to take a Master of the Forge instead. Now here's 2 I might be using. The chapter Ancient allows some shenanigans and abilities, and especially, of course, it starts with each model in the unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. That is pretty decent if you've got a Stern Guard unit that likes to run up in a Rhino and disbus and charge things like I do. That might be something that I'm wanting. And then, of course, taking the Pennant of the Fall and can make 2 melee attacks every time it's removed instead of 1. Ooh, that's quite tasty, especially for the tactics that I like to use. Bit of the old school Rhino rush, use a Stern Guard, get out, punch some people. Well, after you've shot some other guys, if the rules for the Stern Guard are still the same. I've not really gone through the units yet, so fingers crossed. And then, of course, we've got the Chief Apothecary that I quite like. A Chief Apothecary, at the end of your movement phase, this model can use its combat restoratives ability twice instead of once. Ooh, it doesn't mention if you can't, it doesn't say you can't use it on the same unit. So yeah, Centurion units, I can see you guys getting fielded quite a lot, especially when you're running forward. I'm just trying to make sure that you're going to get blast stuff to pieces. Ooh, some Assault Centurions doing that, 6 of them. Might have to start buying some more models. And then Selfless Healer's quite good as a Warlord trait. The Warlord uses a combat restoratives ability. The model being healed regains up to 3 lost wounds instead of D3. And each time this Warlord is selected to return a destroyed model to a unit by using the combat revival stratagem, page 103, it costs 0 command points. Ooh! We'll find out what that means in a moment when we actually finally get to the stratagem rules. Speaking of this, you turn the page, here they are. Laid out very differently. These look more like rules than, they look like special rules than they did before in the previous book, where they kind of looked a bit like chapter tactics, or it's sort of like little cards that you could possibly cut out. I know that there is a set of cards for this game. I have not got them. The reason I've not got them is I've bought the cards before for the previous editions, and within about a year and a half they're then useless. So I've just not bothered. Just going to crack on using the main rulebook itself. And to be honest, when you're playing games, you don't tend to use all the stratagems. You get your favourites, you get your army favourites, and then you tend to keep going on that. Some changes, I might add. Power of the Machine Spirit has kind of changed. It can no longer blow up, which is a bit of a shame, because I quite like doing that with my Land Raider. Rapid fire is now, it's just 2 CP straight, but intercessor squad or veteran intercessor squad can shoot again. That is a little bit on the tastier side, especially when you've got some assault bolt rifles at 3 shots apiece. You're effectively firing twice, making it 6, and of course the heavy ones. Going to be a bit tasty, but they can no longer rinse tanks with 3 damage due to the changes for the Devastator Doctrine, as mentioned. I'm applying all this to Crimson Fists. Fury of the First hasn't really changed. That's quite a good one. Honor the Chapter only applies to Assault Intercessor squads. That's a bit of a bummer. I quite like using that. Transhuman. That's kind of the same, but you've got the change of the chapter tactics where it's 1 point for 5 or less, or 2 points. It's pretty good for me. I tend to run models in 5s anyway. And yielding in the face of the foe. Mark X Gravis armor from your army. Ooh. +1 to your saving throw. That'd be quite interesting. Only in Death Does Duty End. Yeah, character, that's kind of stayed the same. Armor of Contempt. Yeah, that's kind of stayed the same. Gmod Might stayed the same. Oh, this is new. Command. I do like the fact they put the colour coding. So that's like a battle tactic. These are epic deeds. These are requisitions. These are strategic ploys. It makes me wonder if we're going to bring something out later regarding that. Now, this is the combat revival that was mentioning earlier. Now it's starting strength and within 3 inches of the apothecary. Select one of the units destroy models and return it to its unit with 4 wounds remaining. I can see some certain units being quite powerful with this, especially maybe Terminator squads. Oh, maybe I should get my other set of Terminators painted up. Wisdom of the Ancients has changed a little bit. You can now reroll a 1, so you can effectively have it as a lieutenant or a captain. That'll be quite interesting if you like to take a different type of warlord. That's not a captain, but you've still got a lieutenant. You can still have your dreadnoughts running up and down, effectively doing their thing. But it does, again, it only applies to core units. So certain units I know are not going to be able to benefit from that. Hit and run warfare. Bikers, land speeders can fall back and still shoot. That's pretty good. Hammer of Wrath for jump pack units. Mortal wounds, I think that's a given. Apart from it's no longer a 6s, I think it's enemy toughness. More stratagems. Always more stratagems. And compromising fire, quite like that. 2 points, you can still do the action and shoot. Oh, that's nice. Skilled Riders for your bikers. Subtract 1 to the hit rolls. That's changed a little bit. Ooh, what's this? Adaptive strategy. Use this stratagem in your command phase. If a chapter warlord from your army is on the battlefield and a combat doctrine is active for your army, select 1 core unit from your army that's on the battlefield. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, the Devastator Doctrine, Tactical Doctrine, and Assault Doctrine are considered to be active. Oh, that's pretty good. Ooh, Devastators. Oh, that'll be very, very nice for Devastator units. Wow, that's quite good. I like that. Again, though, only applies to core, so my Centurion Devastators are off the field regarding it. Spec scans changed a bit on the wording. They basically, they're right at the end of everyone's deployment, so you're no longer having to wait for someone to put other units down. Don't know if I like that. I quite like the game aspect of, I put a unit down. Are you shooting it? Are you? No? Then I'll put another unit down. Are you shooting that one? I quite like doing that to my opponent. It gave the opponent it also meant, do you, don't you? What do you do? Always nice. But it says Adeptus Astartes Infantry. So Terror Troops, Adeptus Astartes. So if you've got a Reaver, you can then start using this Terror Troop aura. I'm guessing that's changed a little. Guerrilla Tactics. Well, you can actually put units back into reserve if you've got Phobos pattern armor. I think that's quite cool. Oh, but that might be cheaper than, especially for units over a certain amount of power level, it might be cheaper than using. You could do that on the first turn. Orbital Bombardment. Now, I know this one's changed because I've seen this on Winter's SEO. Let's have a look at this. Roll D6 for every unit within 600 center at the start of your next command phase. Adding 1 if a unit being rolled for is within 3 inches of a centre, and subtracting 1 if a unit is a character. On a 2 to 5, the unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, the unit suffers D6. Do you know, a lot of 3 CP. Now, 3 CP, it seems expensive, but it kind of isn't now with the way command points are, especially if you're playing 2,000 points. That, on a unit that's just sat there going, I'm an artillery piece. 3 CP. Yep, that's not a problem, mate. You be an artillery piece, but if you don't move, I'm going to smash you with something. I like it. Terror shells for, I'm guessing, that's for the thunder-fire cannon. Yeah, I haven't got one, so I'm not really interested. Assault launchers for Adeptus Astartes assault launchers. A lot of these are very specific keywords, like Adeptus Astartes melter bomb. So I'm wondering if certain units have got these keywords specifically, like Adeptus Astartes repulsor field, Adeptus Astartes infantry for hellfire shells. So you can't do that on tanks anymore. I don't think you could do it on tanks anyway, actually. Flak missile, that's changed. 2d3 mortal wounds for the attack instead of, so it's a minimum of 2, maximum of 6. Interesting. Adeptus Astartes smokescreen. Use a stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when an unit has been selected as a target attack until the end of the phase. Each time the attack is made against a unit, subtract 1 from the attacker's hit roll. That's quite good. Quite like that. Well, then we've got on to Warlord traits. I'll be honest, the Warlord traits don't really interest me. Add 1 to your wound. On a 6, it's not lost. Storm of Fire, Rites of War. They're not really that much different. Crimson Fist, Refuse to Die, which if you are a Crimson Fist player, you're going to have the book. You're going to have your extra book. You're going to be able to do your extra things. Come on. Relics. Let's have a look what has changed here. Teeth of Terror is still quite tasty. 2 damage, -2, +1 to your strength, and each time it fights, it makes an extra 3 attacks. Quite like the idea of that, actually. Armor Indomitus, +1 to your wound. Shield Eternal. Basically just a... Shield Eternal. 4 up invulnerable save, +1 to your armor throws. And each time the bearer loses 1 wound, roll a d6 and a 5+ the wound is not lost. Wow. That could make a quite... Mixing it with certain Warlord traits, you could make quite a tasty captain with that. That's not going to be able to be brought down very, very quickly. I suppose you do need to have your captain survive a bit more now, since you can only take 1. Skipped ahead a little because the rules regarding the librarians are very much similar. The lineages of hate have not really changed apart from its certain keywording, like core character. Add 1 to the, priest and damage, mantra of strength. That's again for a core unit. Chapter approved rules. So these are if you are using just I think it's if every model in your army is a Space Marines. So what are these? So these are basically Space Marine centric secondary objectives. So if you take an objective off somebody, no mercy, no respite, or for valor, score 1 point at the end of the battle. I've not really looked into a lot of these until we play some games, because they're very situational, and some of them are a little rubbish, I'll be honest with you, and some of them are brilliant against some armies, crap against others. Oh, Crusade rules, right, let's just mosey on past that, because it's not, Crusade is not Narrative Games Workshop, it is not narrative at all. Right. Having a look here. So, combat squads, death from above. So basically they're putting all your special abilities. This is feeling like an old Games Workshop thing where, hey, here's your abilities. They're no longer on your data sheet. They are separate from your data sheet. You've now got to go somewhere else to find them. I thought we rectified that in the old books, Games Workshop. Come on, guys. Non-codex compliant chapters, so certain things can't be used. Well, Blood Angels seem to be able to have pretty much everything. Following units can't be used for Death Watch, Assault Squad, Attack Bike, Devastator, Stern Guard, Tactical, and Scout. Angels of Death, so that's not really changed. That's changed, and they show no fear. Each time a combat attrition test is taken, ignore all modifiers. So there's more chance of Marines running off, especially if you manage to get them. A lot of the time, if you take units of 5, you don't tend to be falling back. It's very hard to fail a test because it's either like a wipeout or you need a 6. So I suppose that is going to affect the game because you are going to have a chance of certain units actually running off for once. Because normally if you need a 6 and you're rolling it, it's very, very situational. Bolt of Discipline has changed a bit. It looks like Centurions no longer get it. Vehicles can't have it at all. Within half range, remain stationary in your previous movement phase. And if it's a Terminator or a Biker, makes sense. Shock Assault, that hasn't changed. Combat Doctrines, that hasn't changed. No, it's not changed. It's the same as what was on the errated version. And then, of course, we're getting 2 units. So, what units do I have? I have a Primaris Captain. Is there any changes to this lad? Got some blue tech in my hand, trying to get rid of some stress. You can have different, well, you can have a Power Fist. You can have some different weapon variations. Just have the Mastercrafted Power Sword, +1, -3. He's got 6 wounds in total, +1 to your save and a 4 up. I suppose if you give him certain, you can make him a real badass with certain Warlord traits maybe on that. And maybe taking that relic, that'd be pretty good to do. I don't have a captain with a Mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle. I'm guessing that's some form of new thing for the Indomitus. Mastercrafted. Oh, it's got Gravis armor. It's the keywords you've got to look for. Captain in Phobos, I do have one of them. Mastercrafted Insignia Bolt Carbine. You can ignore the lookouts rules. That's pretty good. It's an assault weapon. Omni Scrambler. Stop within 12 inches. Oh, it's nice. I've got a captain in Gravis, who Ant. 7 wounds, toughness 5, 3 up and 4 up and vulnerable. Core units. No real. A lot of this could just be down to one chart. You could just have captain. Is he a Primaris captain? Yes, +1. Pick an armor. It feels very much. I mean, this is what 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of random units. I suppose it makes it easier for people that are not that intelligent to be able to create their army. Yes, I did go over and I did say it, but no, I'm not sure I'm that particularly keen. Although having a captain in Terminator armor with a storm shield would be quite amusing. Ooh, Captain on Bike is back. It's always a good sign, especially when you've got someone like a White Scars player. And Primaris Lieutenant is 1 Primaris unit. Oh, so it's just a single now. So you can't mix and match it, but he has gone up to, well, I think he had 5 wounds anyway. Mastercrafted Auto Bolt Rifle. So you can pretty much make sure that he's going to stand still and start some shooting. That might be an idea. I'm going to mention in Wolf Guard. Company Heroes. If you're out then, each lieutenant unit included in a detachment. The second lieutenant can be included in that detachment without taking up an additional battlefield role slot. What? I thought you could only have 1 model. That looks like a half-boot. Oh no, it said 2. So pretty much, I don't know why they've put that there, because you could just say you can have 1 to 2. That's a bit stupid. And then, of course, you've got your different lieutenants. I suppose these lieutenants don't actually have... It doesn't have varying word. Oh no, Company Heroes is on that one as well, on the Power Armoured version. Lieutenant Phobos Armour. Primaris Librarian. And then you've probably got Librarian in Phobos Armour, and then Standard Librarian, Librarian in Terminator Armour. I do have a couple of Librarians. I don't take them that often. I suppose it does depend on who I'm going against. Each time a range attack is allocated to the bearer when it's receiving the benefit of cover, add 1 to the armour saver. I did want to know what Camo Cloaks did. I've got, I don't think, oh, yes, I do have a Primaris Chaplain now. And a Standard Chaplain, so I'm doing well. I've got a lot of the guys on these pages. It's always a good sign. Always, I think. We've got Primaris Tech Marine, some Servitors. I haven't actually got a Tech Marine for my army. I kind of think I should need one. The troops. Now, there's going to be a lot of them because, of course, we've got the new heavy intercessors. Standard intercessors haven't really changed. can you have different weapons? You can have Astartes chain swords, you can have power fist, power sword, thunder hammer, and every 5 models can be equipped with one Astartes grenade launcher. I don't understand Astartes grenade launchers. Maybe for a crack grenade, but it's not the same as having a rocket launcher, is it? Let's be fair. And the tactical squads have still got the better loadout than the intercessor units, but I do like the intercessor squads. But now they've removed that auto hit, but assault 6 if you rapid fire. Ooh, is it going to be a choice? I'm not quite sure. I've still not seen any mention of the word melter bomb. Assault intercessor squad can have 1 hand flamer, 1 plasma. The assault intercessor sergeant can have 1 power fist, 1 power sword, or 1 thunder hammer. Yes, I knew future-proofing my assault intercessor squad was a great idea by sticking a power fist on the actual sergeant. Who said I was crazy? Not that many people, but still, I'm going to rub it in those very limited people's face. Now, I do have an infiltrator squad. I don't actually have any tactical squads, because my idea with my Crimson Fist, I'm quite a thematic narrative player. To me, we're still suffering from the, the effect of Rinnsworld and the Orcs, and we're just getting back up, which is why all my newer units are Primaris, and then I try and get all my veterans to be Stern Guard squads if I want them. So I'll get to those in a moment. Let's have a look at this. Hang on. Right, so I've got an infiltrator squad, and once per turn, the timer saving throw is failed for the various unit. The damage characteristic of the attack is 0. The first timer saving throw is failed. Oh, that's a bit different. Infiltrator comms array of a 4-wash unit on the battlefield. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Marksman bolt rifle, 6 automatically wounds. Omni scrambler. But when you get tactical squad, oh, they have smoke screen as well. That's quite interesting. They have melter bombs. Woohoo, melter bombs. So they're all right. That's the first unit I've come across that actually has melter bombs. Quite a few having the smoke screen one there. Now I'm a bit disturbed on this. Troop. Elite. You've got to be pissing kidding me. Why have they moved scout squads to an elite choice? That is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. What? Oh, Jesus. Why have you done that? Scout squad is an elite choice. They're my troop choices are scout squads. My actual troop choices are scout units. Simply because scouts. You take a unit of scouts, I'm playing narrative game. They are not an elite choice, they're not rare. They are the future of the chapter. I am playing Crimson Fist, I'm trying to repair a chapter. Scout squad. Now it's an elite choice. You completely and totally messed up how I actually use my army. Thank you, you bastards. I am genuinely pissed off at that. That is insane. Scout squads to me should be a troops choice. I'm sorry, Workshop, that is so wrong. It really is so wrong. Although Scout Sniper Rifle's now -1. Ooh, that'd be quite nice. And it's heavy, so in first turn it's -2. Alright, maybe you're giving me something, but I still feel like you're taking quite a lot away from me there, if I'm completely honest. Yeah. Oh, Starty shotgun's 18 inches, is it? Alright. I've given all mine bolt pistols and I suppose I can have Starty's. Do we have Starty's chainswords? I don't think they do. Scout Sergeant. Scout can have 1. Scout Sergeant. Scout Sergeant. So no, so Scouts can't have... And there's still only 1 wound. That's not funny. Come on, guys. I've got 4 squads of scouts, for crying out loud. Crimson Fists. So I'm going to have to... Well, I'm not going to go out and... Oh, I probably will do eventually. But it does mean I'm a little... I'm going to be a little... I'm going to be a little... Might have to start fielding different army types, I think. Right, Primaris Apothecary. Got one of those lads. Movement phase can heal units. Ooh, that's new. When a friendly chapter within 3 inch, each time I'm modelling that unit would lose a wound. On a roll of 6, the wound is not lost. Ooh, that's quite nice. Big unit of 10 going through. With an Apothecary. I think Apothecaries are going to be some auto-includes, just to be able to try and make sure that certain units are not being destroyed, but I suppose it depends on how many points they are right at the end. Now, look at that page. I've got every single one of them units. I've got a Blade Guard Ancient, which is not really changed from the book, apart from a heavy bolt pistol is 18 inches. Oh, I wonder if any more units with heavy bolt pistol have changed that result as well. Company Ancient. Can have 1 weapon from the melee and 1 weapon from the pistol, because mine's got a plasma pistol. And then what do we do? Right, so add 1 to leadership characteristics. That's pretty cool. Each time a model in the unit is destroyed by an attack made by an enemy model, roll a d6 and a 4+. Do not remove a model from play. It can, after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, either shoot with one of its ranged weapons or make 1 attack with its melee weapons at fight phase. After these attacks, the destroyer model is removed. And then command squad for each. The veterans unit, 1. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I quite like the idea of that command squad thing. Apart from it doesn't apply to the Primaris ones. Bit of a shame. But I have 1 of each. I'm just actually curious. 2 wounds, 2 wounds. What am I doing? Where's my tactical squads? Oh, right, they're no longer the first ones. I'm thinking that they should be right at the beginning of the book. 2 wounds apiece, but only 1 attack. Oh, I suppose that makes sense. Oh, mention of an ancient with a banner. That's pretty good. I like the fact that the model there looks very similar to the actual picture. Even though that's a Blood Angel 1. Yeah, I suppose that's been included because you can actually have those type of units in Deathwings. So that's not too bad. But this is interesting. Veteran Intercessor Squads. So Intercessor Squads, if you're wanting the veteran unit, they have to then be... all models in the unit can have a bolt pistol and bolt rifle placed with 1 heavy bolt pistol and 1 Astartes chainsword. Ooh. Where's that heavy bolt pistol? Yeah, that heavy bolt pistol's now 18 inches, so that really changes how that actually works, because it used to be 12 just with a minus. So that's very different. And effectively this unit, this Veteran Intercessor Squad, could be a Veteran Intercessor Assault Squad. But you don't get the Veteran Intercessor Squad, Assault Squad keyword, so you're going to be losing out. Even though you'll be getting the extra attack, the Astartes Chainsword is pretty good, but even though you're getting the extra attack, 4 attacks apiece, you're not... Yeah, I have to think about that one. Skip Blaster Blade Guards have not really changed. But Stern Guard Veteran Squad. Here we go. These are my lads. Infantry Corps, and that's it. Well, 1 heavy weapon, can have a heavy flamer, special weapons, so the sergeant can have stuff. I've got 2 Stern Guard veteran squads, which I quite like. Now that the 2 wounds apiece, especially, and they can be stuck in a rhino. That's always nice. Oh, that's a good point. What is the... So they're Infantry Corps Primaris. Infantry Corps Primaris. Someone mentioned something. So that's Infantry Corps Melter Bomb. And this is Infantry Corps Primaris. Right. I've got some Reavers. I've always wanted some aggressors, but apparently they've lost their abilities. Let's have a look. Yeah, they no longer shoot twice by the looks of that. Which is always a... I suppose it means that they're not going to be sat at the back just shooting stuff. They actually are going to be able to move forward. And then you've got a special... Oh, right, it's a special issue bolt pistol. That's changed. It's no longer a heavy bolt pistol. And it's got a -2 to it rather than -1. So that's a little tasty. Terror Troops Aura. Combat Squad's Angels of Death. Again, though, we have shot grenades, but we don't have melter bombs. That's a bit of a shame. Quite like the fact they've put a lot of these grenades... Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, it does state that they come with frag and crack grenades. Whew. Suddenly thinking that you've not got any frag grenades in the unit. Terminators. I always love myself some Terminators. Terminators with Storm Shield are going to be pretty difficult when in cover to be able to shift. Of course, we do know that the Thunderhammers have changed. They're now just a straight 3 damage, but they're only -2 and a subtractor 1 hit. I suppose you've got to try and balance it somehow for something else. Terminator Squad, your power sword is your +3. And of course, it doesn't mention teleport, but it does have, I believe, some form of, teleport strike, which you now have to find on a different page. I thought we got past all that, but never mind. Chain fists are now going to be definitely an auto include if you're going to go across someone that's possibly got some vehicles. And of course, you've always got the handy Cyclone missile launcher, which is heavy 2d6 with blast. Going to be good against some orcs, isn't it? I don't have any of those. I don't have any of those. Although it's always siege drills ×2 -4 straight 3 damage. Yeah, I might have to look at getting myself some of those, lads. Infantry Centurion, Centurion Assault Squad. Dreadnought. Contemptor Dreadnought. Venerable Dreadnought. Ooh. Duty Eternal. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, subtract 1 from the damage characteristics to the minimum of 1. Interesting. Very interesting. When it's gone up... Oh, no. It's about 8 wounds anyway, actually. I think Contemptor Dreadnought might have gone up. But, yeah, it's about 8 wounds anyway. I don't have any Contemptors, but I do have Dreads and Venerable Dreads. That is very, very interesting. Oh, and that's a great tax. I'm guessing... Oh, that's Fenrisen, so that's going to be for you. It's going to be for your other guys. Dreadnought close combat weapons have not really changed. They're still a straight 3 damage. Still explodes. On a 6, each unit within 3 inch suffers 1 mortal wound. I think that's changed a little. I'm not sure though. I've gone past the Redemptor Dread because I don't have them. So again, this is mainly me looking at the Codex and applying it to what I've got. I do have these guys, which have come with heavy bolt pistol. And they come with twin bolt pistols, twin bolt rifle. Of course, you can always, if you use advance, do not make an advance roll, instead add 6. Devastating charge each time a unit fights. If it made a charge move and the fight is resolved, add 2 to the attack characteristics of the model. You get loads of attacks with these new Outriders, and of course they can... There's still only 3 in a unit, and there's no mention of anything special on the Sergeant. So I think that's going to be a toss-up now between, because the bike squads are 3 wounds apiece. So it's whether or not you want to try and keep the bike squad going, or whether you want to... Ooh, Scout Bike Squad is pretty much the same, but a little bit faster. 16, and of course I've only got a 4-up save. They've got the turbo boost as well, and of course I've got Smoke Screen, Scout Biker Corps, Bike Squad. They don't have Smoke Screen though, that's surprising. Combat Knife. Not really much in the way of special rules for a lot of these units. Again, I'm looking at units that I have. So I do have a Suppressor Squad, although it's in bits. They're still only 2 wounds apiece. They've got Jump Fly. They're not really... No, I'm still not really impressed by that particular unit. It's probably why it's still left in my box, not built up and not painted. I do have 2 Inceptor Squads, not with the Plasmas though. Got them with the standard bolt, which is not changed. That's still kind of like a mini heavy bolter, but it's not got the 2 damage. 10, 3 wounds apiece. Yeah, 2 assault bolters, 6 shots. They have not really changed at all, apart from they don't have that devastating charge anymore. It's something you've got to pay a command point for. Ooh, I'll probably look at them at a later date. These are the new sort of land speeders. And they've got the keyword storm speeder and not land speeder. Why? Just call them land speeder hammer strike primaris or something. Christ, stop trying to get away from original names. Hellblasters into the devastators now. Hellblaster unit. Still pretty much the same, and just defining the plasma weapon. If you roll a 1 to hit, the bearer is destroyed after shooting this weapon. Infantry Corps Primaris, Eliminator Squad. I've actually got another one of them, but I've not built them up yet. After this unit is shot, if it's not within engagement range with units, it contains Eliminator Sergeant with an Instigator Bolt Rifle. Why would you do that? You just want the bolt. I'd just want the bolt snipers or the las carbines, las fusils. Las fusils were pretty cool. You still can only have 3 in that squad as well. But I do like some of their weapons. Oh, they're all strength 5 now. That sniper rifle. I think it used to be strength 4, I'm not sure. Being heavy is always good if you're a Crimson Fist player. Centurion Devastator Squad. Oh, I love these guys. 4 wounds apiece, 2 up save. Can have up to 6 of the bad boys. Decimator protocols has remained the same. You can still move and fire. You've still got your Omniscope with your Sergeant, so you ignore. It just says ignore the benefits of cover. So I believe if you look at the main rulebook, when it says ignore the benefits of cover, it just means you ignore all benefits of cover. So anything like a +1 or a -1, you just ignore it all, which is a bit devastating. I mean, to me, it should be ignore maybe a +1 save, but still have the -1 to hit, because of course it just, you end up where you're like, really? Now, these guys, they don't have the core keyword. Maybe that's why, because they're ignoring the benefit of cover. Maybe that's why they don't have core, because Eradicator Squad has core, but it does not ignore the benefit of cover. And total obliteration in shooting phase. Each time this unit selects to shoot, it's not advanced. If it is not advanced, it unleashes total obliteration. Select one on the unit and you can fire twice. I mean, the heavy one's pretty cool, but I quite like them mobile. I like the idea of them being quite mobile, especially at 24 inches. I don't like the idea of that they're standing still. I'm just double checking the Centurion. Oh, that's actually a blast. Oh, that's quite interesting. That is very interesting. Oh, grav weapon has changed a little bit. Attack has a damage characteristic of 2 rather than rolling for it. I've noticed I've not locked out a lot of the weirdness. That can move. Why can that move? No, thank you for that. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, Jesus, really? Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Devastators. Just 2 wounds. Yeah. You're pretty much the same as you were previously, apart from you've got more wounds, maybe a bit more power. Thunderfire Cannon has 4d3. Wow, that's pretty good. Blast. Indirect, but it's like basically being hit by a bolt gun. But it's still 4d3. That is pretty impressive. But is that all the... it's all it's got. I thought it could have different weapon types. No. Crude artillery. No. I suppose if you take out the Tank Marine, it can't operate. And then we've got a myriad of different weapons here. I've actually not got any standard tanks for my Crimson. Now, I am going to mention that I do quite like these. Because I don't like Primaris tanks. I think they look god-awful compared to the old originals. I mean, even those are not the old originals. That's like an updated version of the original Rhino that came out years and years ago. But this looks like a Space Marine tank to me. Even though it's got this crap at the bottom of it, it still looks like a Space Marine tank. Whereas a lot of the Repulsor stuff just does not. Gladiator Reaper. I don't know why we just don't call it a special assault cannon. Why it's got to be an onslaught gatler. Some of these weapon names are same. Oh, it's strength 6. It used to be strength 5. Oh, multi-melter, heavy 2. Oh, multi-melter. These, you don't seem to have options. You seem to be able to build them as one particular thing, and then that's it. You can't change it. You can't put it down to something different. These do have repulsor fields. Ooh, and they've got smoke screens. So they haven't got smoke launchers anymore. Certain vehicles seem to have something called smoke screen. Oh, that's a shame. I just saw infantry and it says it cannot transport Primaris models. That's boring. Come on, guys. At least a Land Raider. Just count Primaris as 2 models in a Land Raider. It's a Land Raider, for crying out loud. We all love Land Raiders. Took you ages. Not many people will know, but you took you ages to bring those revamped models out in the first place. When you've never changed them, and of course you've just made sure that nobody wants to use them. Oh, that's changed. Heavy laser destroyer, and you're no longer firing twice. Well, that's a lot better, because I hated that damn thing. But I suppose to bring it out, make them all buy it, and then change rules for it, nerf it a little bit, and then you don't want to buy it anymore. Yeah, still can't transport Primaris. That's a shame. That smoke screen is very odd. I much prefer to be able to Rhino rush it, but it means, because if you play especially a match play game, you can only actually save 1. I like how people's bought these so you could charge forward and then charge, but apparently you can get out after it moved, but you cannot charge. Is that the same for the... I wonder if that's the same for the Land Raiders. I'm kind of skimming past these, but no, it doesn't mention anything about assault vehicle on Land Raiders, because that's a rule that they used to have, and they still have in Heresy. Drop board. Transform will start the battle up high in the skies, see death from above, but neither it nor any units embarked with any account towards any limits to the mission you are playing placed on a maximum number of reserve units. Transport can be set up in the reinforcement step, second or third movement phase, regardless of the mission. Okay. Any units embarked within this transport must immediately disembark. Set up within 9 inches of the model. After this transport, it can't transport. And it can't transport Terminators or Primaris or Centurion. Land Speeder Storm can have 5 scouts. I've actually got one of these. I quite like them. The weapons are still a little poor, but ooh, open topped. In your shooting phase, units embarked within transport can be selected to shoot. I know about that. It's the getting out. So that's an assault vehicle as well. So the Impulsor no longer has a unique ability. I might get another Land Speeder Storm. I do have a couple of assault style squads of scouts, even more than elites, Christ's sake. I don't have any of these crap looking flyers, because let's be fair, they are rubbish. And oh, the Hammerfall bunker is a fortification. Interesting. I'm guessing that's what that means. And then we've got a glossary war gear. So these are all your weapon types. Melter weapons. So that's basically just explaining what melter and plasma weapons are. Flame weapons. This massive list of weapons themselves. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to go through all of these while I'm playing the game. I don't really think I should be looking at and changing any of this lot. You know, now I'll have a look at it when we're playing the game. That's when I'll like go, right, I've got this particular weapon, what does it do? And then actually heavy 3, and then it will be able to apply it to the game, because it makes more sense that way. Simply because if you go through everything, you forget, and then you start using the old rules. So what I'll do is when I'm playing, it will be right, let's have a look at what this new rule is. Has it changed? No. Right, let's continue. I think we're going to be doing that all the way through now. It's quite a lot of different pages here. Hunter Slayer missiles changed. This Hunter Killer missile changed then. Hunter Killer missile. Strength 10. Makes more sense. More likely to wound. Definitely more likely to wound. Plasma blaster, plasma cannon. Thought you might have upgraded some of the damage on the plasma cannon since you've upgraded the damage on the heavy bolter. Kind of not really seeing the point of taking a plasma cannon now, if I'm honest, because a heavy bolter is going to cause 2 damage anyway. I suppose if I'm using my Devastator Doctrine, then that is going to cause 3 damage. But again, it's whether or not it's going to be useful. God, there's a lot of ranged weapons here, guys. I suppose we've got all the weapons as well from the other editions like Death Watch. Space Wolves has got their own particular weapons as well, which is going to be in here. Heavy Thunderhammer, Invictus Fist. And then points values. This was quite interesting. Ooh, that's a lot better. Look. Captain. Unit size 1. Unit cost 85 points. If you want this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, this weapon. Yeah. It is the same cost to take a single or a pair. This way as well, I suppose if one weapon is going to be more powerful on one particular unit, you can change the points cost of that weapon to reflect that. $19 points for Assault Intercessor, 28 points for Heavy Intercessor. That's quite expensive. Tactical squads are now 18 points apiece, so they've gone up to the level of Intercessors. Intercessors are 20 points apiece, so they've gone up a little bit as well. Jesus. Incursions and Infiltrators have also gone up quite a lot. From the battle reports that I've seen, it has, people are quite, the army size is a lot smaller. What are your costs of your Land Raiders, lads? 285. They've gone a little bit up as well, if I'm correct. 70 points for Centurion Devs, plus your Grav Cannon, Heavy Bolter, and Las Cannon. No mention of a chest weapon, so they must either come with them or without them. I don't really understand that. But there's no mention of points costs, so there must not be a points change, unless I've missed something. I like me Centurion Devs because they scare a lot of people. That's pretty much why. Any number of models can have their Hurricane Bolters replaced with 1 Centurion Missile Launcher. And then it doesn't mention Centurion Missile Launchers here, so they must be included in the points cost. Can have 2 heavy weapons. So heavy bolters are 15 points. I'm guessing, because there's no real mention of these each. Entering the list size, how many units cost X. You must add the points for each weapon or other items of war gear. This is included in the unit as listed. So I'm guessing that's 15 points each for the heavy weapons on there as an example. Stern Guard squad's got a massive list of weapons that they can have. That is amazing. And a lot of the mixtures of the combi weapons seem to just be the same points. And then we've got a glossy just telling you what certain things are. Drop pod is 70 points, Impulsors 110. Pulsar Executioners 350. Wow, that's quite expensive. Rhino is 80. I think they've gone up as well. I think a lot of the points costs of the Space Marines have actually gone up, surprisingly. So there you go. I've had a quick skim through the book. Thankfully, or hopefully now, I'll be able to understand how this is going to apply. Apologies for my hair. How this is going to be able to apply to my Crimson Fists in future games. I'll try and get a battle report with the Crimson Fist going soon, although everyone else has got one out again, so it's kind of like something that I'm just trying to avoid. I've got a couple of Necromunda battle reports actually in the bag that'll be coming out as well, so I might just try just to deviate just slightly. I am getting a bit fatigued with all the Space Marine stuff. I'm just fed up with it, if I'm honest. The book's all right. It's 30 quid from Workshop for not really much in the way of changes. They're just adding units. There's little changes all over, but that could have just been sorted out by maybe just having an errata come out for the actual book, and then a second edition. You could have just said second edition, here you go. If you've got this has got all the units in anyway. I don't understand why they needed a whole new codex, but I suppose I do understand because it's money, money, money. Ka-ching, the Workshop. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Like I say, this is not really a review, but it's a review of how this book is going to apply to my Crimson Fists. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I've got some painting videos hopefully in October or October. I've got some orc painting videos coming out, and then of course I'm going to try and get some orc battle reports with Will, because it's orcs. The majority, I've got Crimson Fists, I've got Armageddon Steel Legion. I go against orcs. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button if you do want to see more of me being miserable. And we'll see you next time.